Hey, welcome back everyone to the Waffle House. This is Dan, and I'm joined by my brother Joe. Say hey, Joe.
Hello. Hello.
All good, all good. Yeah, so this week we're going to crack on to a bit of crypto news. I think it's kind of been steadily rising. So something I wanted to get into and talk to you about, Joe. Um, so my main, you know, the thing that's caught most people's eyes recently is it's been Ethereum, and it's sort of I don't know if it's so much going to eclipse Bitcoin, but that might be a bit a stride too far. But it's definitely working at a very good rate. It's growth. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
and
But I
you and I have
remember
seen.
this. I remember saying exactly the same thing in 2017.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
People were heavily talking about like the flipping and the fact that Ethereum was going to flip Bitcoin. I yeah. So I mean, I'm not a I'm not a like. Have you heard the phrase maxi?
I've not. Please explain.
Okay. Well, okay. So I think since we're talking about crypto, one thing we have to say: nothing is financial advice. We are not giving financial advice. We don't know what we're talking about. We're both idiots. Okay, that's bit's
Yep.
over. Don't do anything because of anything we say on this. But yeah, so a maxi is someone who is like into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's there, and that's it. They're a maximalist. Stands for it's short for maximalist. Bitcoin
Okay.
maximalist. And those are the people who just 100% everything is all Bitcoin. That's what they care about. Nothing else will overtake it. Everything else is a scam,
Okay. Yeah.
basically.
Sure.
So it's Bitcoin or nothing, really.
Yeah.
With those guys, I'm not a maxi at all. But I definitely remember in 2017 there was a time when the Ethereum flipping was, threatening to happen, and ETH had a massive run, and people were thinking it might get a larger market cap than Bitcoin, and it didn't. It went far from it.
Mm.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm definitely not saying it couldn't happen because I think it could. It's possible, but um, it'll take. I think it'll take quite a lot for that to happen.
Yeah. Um, I guess. Yeah. I guess it's just the fact it's had such a great push this year, and especially in the last
Oh
two
yeah.
weeks. Um, well, it's gone
Well,
from I
so
think
so
2,000 US dollars to 3,000 in the space of roughly 10 days, maybe a week actually. I'm not sure if I'm exaggerating, but I
yeah.
haven't I
So
haven't got the graph in front of
no,
me.
no, no. You're not. In a week, yeah, I've got it in front of me. So in a week, it's gone up 26%.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, like 7 days ago, the price was in dollars about 2,700.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2,700. It's now. I mean, it's been trading above 3,500
and that's
today.
and that's the
I mean,
thing.
that's a lot.
That's the thing. Like, and the thing is with these with that sort of type of percentage gain, and I think you'd agree, right? Ethereum is not one of those. It's not one of those coins that people are messing around with about a few $100s.
Pump and
Or
dump
it's
type stuff.
yeah, yeah. So quite a few of the holders we're talking about in the thousands at least. So when that 26% rise comes, that's quite a gain. So I've
It
got a
is, but
friend.
it's also quite a lot. It's quite a big decision to maybe sell because
Mm,
um, so at Christmas time, it, I won't say how much, but I've got like to me it's quite a lot of money. I suppose. Yeah, that's what matters, right? It doesn't matter if to you it's a lot of money or if to the person on the street it's not a lot of money. But to me, it was a decent chunk of money. I
yeah,
had all in Bitcoin, and I basically rose all the way to the top of Bitcoin. Then I sold half of it for Ethereum, and I've just had Bitcoin and Ethereum
yeah,
since I don't know whenever, and it's been amazing. So like I think it wasn't quite half. I think I split the portfolio like 60-40, so 60% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum. And
right,
now, if I quickly check the ratio, like between my Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is almost the other way around. So it's almost 60% Ethereum and 40% Bitcoin. So it's they
yep,
in my portfolio balance terms, they've almost like gone the opposite way, which is crazy.
yeah, and so I mean that's worked. That's worked so well to your advantage. I've got a friend who's sort of brand new to crypto. He sent me a message um
Is he a friend from
about
home or is he a friend from abroad?
abroad. Yeah, he sent me a message about a month ago, and he said, I've got £5,000 and I'm thinking about putting it in on Dogecoin. And I didn't reply instantly, and I just thought to myself a little bit how we, as you just gave that disclaimer, it's not just about sort of it's not just a like a legal advice. It's also you don't want to if you don't want to sometimes you don't want to
Well,
advise too
you
strongly
can
with some
yeah. I
yeah
mean, you can talk to your mates about what you would or wouldn't do. That's fine, but you can't like. I don't think you can go on a podcast and say I would do this and I would do that because people would be like, oh, hold on,
yeah.
give me advice.
No, sure, but I guess he's a good friend, but I guess even so, we're still not quite close enough for me to discourage him
It's a lot of
from doing it.
responsibility. It's a lot of
Yeah,
responsibility.
yeah. Anyway, it turns out he didn't do that, and instead, he just told me today that he actually put £5,000 on Ethereum, and he did that a week ago. So he's made the gains that we've just talked about. So still pretty good
He's made
going.
26. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, Dogecoin's done amazingly well though.
Yeah, so he he,
Like,
he actually would have made better gains. I'm pretty sure with Dogecoin, but I'm still. I said to him, I kind of put the few sort of emoji, and I was still kind of happier that he made. This is the good thing about Ethereum. I still, even though the gains are less, I don't feel like I now have to tell him, maybe you should take your money out, because I do feel like Ethereum's fall is just going to be substantially less than Dogecoin's fall. That's what I was kind of getting at.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Dogecoin's up 90% this week.
Yeah,
That's insane. That's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. It is. So
And it's
there's
mad. It's mad because it's literally a joke. It is made as a joke.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to get on. Yeah, I was just going to get onto that and say that the difference between I guess Dogecoin and Ethereum, but Dogecoin,
Oh yeah, go
a
for it.
lot
Yeah.
of hype. It's so much. Obviously, it's so much hype that's behind it, and it's a lot of people that are just pushing it for the sake of this funny tweets. Obviously, from Elon Musk is just caught so much attention. He's going on SNL this week. I don't know if you knew about that. That's been like a
Yeah.
big announcement.
Yeah, I saw. I'm on Twitter. I saw his tweet talking about his SNL gig.
Yeah, and there's just I think it was TMZ. I saw it on YouTube just recently. They were like filming him, and he was giving out some autographs to people outside some hotel in New York, I think, and there's about 20 of them, and as well as getting these autographs and just asking him what he's up to and stuff, they're all just most of the questions were, "What are you going to say on SNL?" and "Can you mention Dogecoin? Please, can you mention Dogecoin?" And he was just like doing his best not to like grin. But I guess they want him to use every platform he can, as well as his Twitter, to announce
Yeah.
to announce it, to get a push. And it's crazy that actually works. But yeah,
It's yeah, and potentially, I mean, he could get himself maybe in hot water over it because if he's seen to be like pumping something and he owns it, or he's do you know what I mean? Because he could like buy a load, then tweet about it, and then immediately sell.
yeah,
So that's really dangerous because that's potentially market manipulation. And so he could potentially get into trouble for it if he is doing that stuff. I'm sure he isn't. Well, I haven't got a clue. I can't imagine he would. I mean, you're richest, like one of the richest men in the world. Do you really need to do that? Probably not. I think he actually just genuinely thinks it's like quite funny. I genuinely think he finds the idea of Dogecoin funny. In fact, there's a little
yeah.
dog coin. There's all sorts. There's like a God coin. There's a Jesus coin. There's like
Oh yeah, yeah.
Denta coin. There's like every coin under the sun. But it's funny. I used to watch the YouTube channel the guy called Jackson Palmer. So Jackson Palmer is the guy who made Dogecoin.
Okay.
He's just a random guy, and he literally made it as a joke. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've got I'm just going to make this Dogecoin," and he did it for a couple of years, and then he completely stopped. He was like, "I'm not interested anymore." Gave up, sold all his stakes, gave up, never touched it ever again. And no, that's the thing. Like nobody's developing or doing anything on it. It's
Mm,
purely like internet meme culture. But one of the
mm.
things I heard recently someone say was that maybe actually the meme culture's important. Maybe meme cultures should be like paid attention to, and if something is memeing, if it's a meme, then yeah, maybe that's enough. That's enough sentiment of the internet. That's like it's basically like an emotion of the internet. It's like an internet emotion, a meme, and if it's
Yeah,
strong enough, there's enough people following it, it'll go up. So
yeah. It's
stand out of the way.
yeah, yeah. It hurts. It kind of hurts me inside to admit that yeah, maybe that there is some sort of way or sense with that, but it's so yeah, it's kind of unexplainable. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
it's a little in the normal investing world, it's called like momentum investing. So a lot of people, a lot of like investors or traders, whatever, they'll go with momentum. They'll see something going up and they'll jump in because they know it's going to go up more. And they know if they jump in and then they say, oh yeah, everyone should buy this, people will listen to them and then buy it. Like it's pretty wrong, but it's a little bit like momentum investing, I guess. Could you see in 5 years' time Dogecoin still being used? I mean, there's a couple of things. It isn't being developed. I mean, maybe if they started developing it, maybe if they started having developers on it and they made it into a currency that you could
Yeah.
spend. I don't know enough about the technicals to know whether or not it's like that's a good idea or not. But yeah, I mean, there is genuinely a chance for it to do something. You just have to actually do some development on it, and not just have it as some stale project
Sure.
that doesn't do anything.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy predictions as well, and a lot of them are sort of nonsense about how it could 100x, which is I think impossible, but well at this stage anyway. But yeah, there's loads of things
So
like that.
100x from here, it would have to be nearly as worth as much as Bitcoin. It'd have to be 75% of. Hold on. Yeah, it'd have to be nearly as much as Bitcoin. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's a lot. 100x.
Yeah.
Maybe over a few years it could. Maybe in like 10 years' time, 5 years' time, maybe. Like the whole market grows enough and then the meme grows more and people haven't sold. But yeah, whereas so the difference with Ethereum, it's genuinely being used. Like they're using it, actual banks are using it, like genuine investment banks and national banks and stuff are using it to do stuff, which is crazy. Which is really cool. They're not using like a private version of it. They're not using like a fork. They're using actual Ethereum, real Ethereum, which is amazing. I like not 7 years ago. Sorry, it wasn't around 7 years ago. Was it? I don't know. 2017. I was talking about this with some people about it being used and like the fact that banks could use Ethereum and stuff, and it was just it was an absolute dream. But yeah, now it's looking pretty real, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is I know it hasn't done much over the past month, but I'm pretty sure it'll come back. I'm sure it'll come back with a vengeance. But yeah, so Bitcoin is, I don't know if you saw the news yesterday, but something like 300 million US accounts might soon have the potential, bank accounts, sorry, would have the potential to buy Bitcoin from their bank account. So like, your personal current account.
Yeah.
The equivalent in the States, they're looking at just having an option to round up transactions to the nearest pound and then buy some Bitcoin with it, or just let them buy Bitcoin with their accounts.
Oh, whoa! Wait a minute. So like Bank of America, if you've got an account with them, you could you could go through your online banking and buy it. You mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean for the platforms like Coinbase? Does that mean
that is exactly that is 100% why they're doing it, because the banks they see loads of money going towards Coinbase and they're like, we kind of would like to get a bit of this action.
Oh wow!
These are massive, because so you saw Coinbase that IPO. No, sorry, it wasn't IPO. It was a direct listing, but they listed themselves on stock exchange.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I did see that.
And as part of that, they have to release their Q1 and their 2020 profit, their balance sheet. Their like their business statement. And as part of that, you saw how much profit they made, and it was eye-watering amount of profit. But for the size of the team, for the amount of work they do, they're an unbelievably profitable company, and everyone looked at them and were like, they're stealing our lunch money here. We need to sort this out.
Oh wow! Ooh. Well, okay.
Yeah. So I'll read the headline. The headline is Bitcoin is coming to hundreds of US banks this year, says crypto custody firm NYDIG. So NYDIG stands for New York Digital Investments Group, and they're really really reputable. They're like super. They're a really good company. But basically, they're saying that they'll make it. What they're doing is going to make it really simple for everyday Americans and corporations to buy Bitcoin through their existing bank relationships. So you don't have to go through and do all your, because one of the problems with crypto exchanges and buying Bitcoin is something called KYC, know your customer, and AML, anti-money laundering. So those two, like, they're not regulations in themselves. They're two concepts. You've got to know your customer, and you've got to somehow prevent money laundering. One of the things to get around that, or to make yourself compliant, is to literally know your customer. So your bank knows your address. They know your not social security number. They know your national insurance number. They've got ID from you. They know your date of birth, all that sort of stuff. They know you. Because they know you, they can deal with you. So the American crypto websites offering crypto to American citizens, they have to go through the same hoops, and they have to do all that same stuff. Well, banks looking around and going, hold on, we know our customers already. We've already done their KYC and AML, anti-money laundering. So we'll just offer it them straight off. There's no barrier. They just give it you from your account. You can buy Bitcoin from your account. So I don't know. I mean, who knows how?
I mean, if that happens, the obvious
implemented. Who knows? But
if that actually happens, the obvious pros sound like it's going to have massive exposure. So the price of Bitcoin and other cryptos are going to shoot up. So for current holders, that can only be good. You'd think, but especially for Bitcoin. But for obviously for those platforms, that's good. They're going to take a hit. I don't know how that's going to affect us. Maybe.
What if you've already got some Bitcoin or some Ethereum?
Yeah. If the platform you use, let's take for example, let's say Binance, since we talked about.
So they might not get new customers, but say for example you wanted to go and buy Dogecoin, or you wanted to buy Ethereum, or you wanted to buy Link, or you wanted to buy Polkadot, whatever. If you want to buy other things, you still have to go to Binance or Coinbase to do that.
Okay, so we're only talking about Bitcoin at the moment.
At the moment, they've only mentioned Bitcoin as a potential.
Okay. Fair enough.
So but Bitcoin is like a gateway drug, right? It's like, that's how.
Yeah.
It's an entry point, and then you get Bitcoin, and you go, oh great, it's gone up in value, and I've got this thing that people can't confiscate. The interesting thing will be about these banks doing Bitcoin is whether or not they'll let you have your private keys.
Right.
So there's really key difference. Like if I go to Coinbase and buy Bitcoin, I can send that Bitcoin to my own personal address. So it's not held by Bitcoin. It's not held by Bitcoin. Sorry, my Bitcoin isn't held by Binance or isn't held by Coinbase.
Okay.
It's held by me. I've got the password. I've got the private key.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? I know the address and I've got the key for that address, and I use an external third-party thing to access it. I don't rely on Coinbase. I don't rely on Binance to secure it for me.
Right.
So I do. That's called self-custody. So I custody the asset myself. I'm completely in charge of it. Yeah, nothing can get. If it doesn't matter if Coinbase is down, no one else involved. I'm literally directly interacting with the Bitcoin network.
Sorry, this is what you're saying the banks offer.
No, that's what I'm saying. I do personally. That's what I do. I don't keep much, if anything, on an exchange. I keep it off exchange. I directly interact with the Ethereum network or Bitcoin network.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you buy from Coinbase or Binance, they'll let you do that. They have no problem saying, send it wherever you want. Send it to your own address. Send it to. It leaves you open to make mistakes, because if I type in the wrong letter when I'm trying to do this, I'll lose my Bitcoin.
That's it. To someone else's.
It doesn't get bounced. I lose it. It is gone forever. No one can ever get it back.
My God.
It's risky. I say it's risky. You get rid of the risk of a custodian, so a third-party custodian, Coinbase, Binance, whoever. You remove the risk of them losing it for you or them getting hacked, like the Mt. Gox hack from years ago.
Yeah.
So you remove the risk of it getting hacked or getting hacked. There's no way you're getting hacked. You just have to look after yourself, and you have to look after your password and your codes, and that's
Sure.
it. So anyway, what I was going back to is, I'll be really interested to see whether or not, and I'm sure they wouldn't. I'm interested to see whether or not US banks, if they let you buy Bitcoin, whether or not they let you send that Bitcoin to your own address. I reckon they'll do what PayPal do, and PayPal let you buy it, but that only sits in your the only thing you can do with it from PayPal is sell it or send it to another PayPal address. You can't send it to a Bitcoin address. So it's not really owning Bitcoin. You don't own something if you have to ask permission or if you're not allowed to do something with it.
Okay.
Whereas if you're allowed to do whatever you want with it, you do own it.
Okay. Damn.
That's my opinion anyway.
No. That's
So
cool.
anyway, I'm
That's
interested to see how that goes.
yeah. No, that's cool. That's a lot of new info. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? Did you
Yeah.
say you had some other mate? So sorry. So your mate got into Ethereum a week ago. You were saying, hey, that's really good. I mean, yeah, he's clearly done well. The thing is, no one knows what's going to happen next week, next month, or even a year away. But I'm pretty sure if you just held on to Ethereum for like 3-4 years, you'll be really happy. If you just did nothing but buy that and Bitcoin, if you did nothing but just buy it and then just hold it, you'll do fine. I'm sure there'll be something out there that's beaten that will beat that percentage of gain. I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah.
But it's so uncertain, and I really wouldn't want to guess what that is. Some people would say even buying Bitcoin Ethereum is, too risky, but I mean, I personally, I don't think it is.
Yeah, guys, push that like
Same.
and subscribe, please. Would help
Yeah.
us. And yeah, so clipping on to the next.
And make
story.
comments.
Oh, and
Make
comments.
Tell us what you think. Tell me what you think about how stupid we are
Yeah.
about what we're talking about, whether or not you agree.
Always up for the feedback. Anyway, yeah. So getting on to so friend number two.
So yeah, friend number one. So sorry. Recapping. Friend number one was the guy who had 5,000. Do you mean pounds? 5,000 pounds or?
Yeah, pounds sterling. Yeah.
So $5,000, and he put it into Ethereum a week ago, and he's done pretty well.
Yeah, he's made those 26% gains roughly.
Yeah, great. And friend number two.
So friend number two, so also from abroad, he basically out of nowhere messaged my other mutual friend, and then I found out he had $4,000, and it's one of the first times he's invested in crypto, and he put it into a cryptocurrency called SafeMoon.
Yes, I've definitely heard of SafeMoon.
Yeah, so now he did this at the very early stage. So he's in these WhatsApp groups of cryptocurrencies, and I guess he was looking on Reddit, and he's in a group of friends that told him this could be a good idea. I'm more staggered, not just from his gains, but I'm more staggered about the amount of money he put onto one coin that I would have thought, you wouldn't put much faith on. But anyway,
this is the first thing crypto's ever invested in.
Yeah.
He put $4,000 on what?
Okay, so he put this $4,000 onto SafeMoon. I think he did that at the beginning of March. Anyway, I think he's made. Yeah, I think he's made 60 times roughly. Oh, he had. It has changed. It has gone down. So he did have $240,000 worth at one point at its peak.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. He then held against other people's advice, but he held. It's now it then basically went down to from 240 to $120,000. So that's roughly, I think, where he's at the moment now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, well, it's roughly around that mark right now. I have looked at the figures. It goes up and down quite a bit, so it fluctuates. But if we just call it a round figure of $100,000, I mean that's a lot of money. They,
the thing about
there's a fee of about 10% though when you withdraw.
Yeah.
So that already pushes it down to, let's say, then $90,000, but that is still a heavy amount of money. So that's where he's at the moment, I believe. I have not had the most recent update, but I think he's still holding. But that's insane.
That's mad.
And as far as I'm aware, it's a lot of these early coins you've got to use. I think it's Pancake Swap, and you've got to use a lot of odd wallets and things like that to actually get onto
to even have them. You mean?
Yeah. So it's there's a few loops to go through, but it's doable. But yeah, he got in really early. He's out there, just working and getting by. And I had no idea that he was even into the crypto space. And one of his first investments was a big investment. But wow, what a turnaround. But who knows?
That's absolutely crazy.
It is crazy, but who knows? Because I don't know how long he plans to hold for, or what he's going to do with it. But at the moment, as it stands, yeah, he's turned $4,000 into currently about 120,000.
It's crazy.
Pretty crazy. But these are these new coins, and I had that very amateur sort of idea. I think I kind of coined to you a while ago about putting like a few hundred on a bunch of sort of random coins and seeing where they could possibly go. Would they 10x or 50x? But this actually happened to
It's
someone
so
that we
hard to
know.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite insane.
it's so hard to know what that is, and it's a lot of effort actually to do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it is.
wouldn't personally. I don't back myself to pick the right one,
Mm,
but I do. But I do think that I don't know. And maybe if you have some play money that you like, don't care about it, then it is gambling, and as long as you accept that you are going to gamble with it, then it's not the as long as you accept it's gambling and it's money you're happy to lose. I guess there's no harm, right? You could blow that money on a night out, for example, instead, or you could spend it on
yeah.
I don't know. You could literally spend it in a casino. That's a casino game. It's not necessarily investing, because you always hear about like you would tell me there's what's called a what's it called, like survivor's bias, survivor bias. So
Hmm.
people who've done well, or people who survived, and people who've got to the top, you hear about what they did to get there. Like this guy, for example, has done really well. So we've
Mm,
heard about what he's done. Oh, he's picked a coin, he's put a bunch of money in, and he's done really well.
yeah.
Well, for every one of him, there'll be 100 people who did something similar, didn't do it with SafeMoon, and have
Mm,
lost a bunch of money.
mm,
But you never hear about those people because they wouldn't tell people about it. And it doesn't make that interest. It's not that interesting a story. Do you know what I mean? So there's like
mm.
this survivor's bias of like you'll always hear about the people who have done really well. You won't hear about the people who've done really badly. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's in back of my mind. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm like, don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, right? Since his input of was $4,000 just on one coin that that
It's
no one would
crazy.
really heard of, and was such a risk. I have a feeling that he's gone on to do that with a bunch of other coins with the hope that that's going to happen again. And this is where it gets to the point of is this guy just kind of getting a high off gambling, almost, and that he
Yeah,
could
yeah,
quite easily lose it if that's the sort of rate that he goes on, and
yeah.
sort of lack of research, and it will care. So you're
100%.
right. This could I could check in again and find out, but it might turn into a not necessarily a sad story, but it could go back to a boring story where his gains quite a lot less.
Evaporate.
But some would
Yeah,
say that's
I
a
hope
sad
not.
story. So yeah, still,
Yeah, no, it sucks. Yeah, that's not. I don't want that for him. I don't know this guy, but I definitely don't want that for him. What I want him to
yeah,
do is like go back in time as soon as it hit. I got 200,000. The thing is, what's the number? What number is he waiting for? And I think this is advice for everyone. If you're going to do some sort of investing, like have a plan at least. If your investment goes
yeah,
up by X amount, when would you sell? If it goes down by X amount, when would you sell? Like
yeah,
know that before you buy, because otherwise you're just going to have to make it up as you go along. And what this guy probably thought, he got to 240,000 and thought it's going to go up even more. I don't know what number it's going to go up to, but it'll go up even more, and I should keep it. And
yeah.
it didn't go up more; it went down. It went down by half, so he's gone down by half. So now he's thinking, wait, I'll wait for it to go back up. Like unless he has maybe he has a plan that's semi-realistic, but if he doesn't have a semi-realistic plan about what to do, he probably won't do anything, and it will. Do you know what I mean? It makes it really hard for you. So, like for me, if I put in 4 grand, I think if it like even if it tripled, so if I turn 4 grand into 12, or even if it's gone up like 10 times or whatever, but pick a number and then
Mm,
take out your initial amount,
yeah.
and then everything you've got in there is for free, and then you're never going to lose. You'll never lose out that your initial investment, or take out your initial investment and some. Maybe take out double your initial investment, for example.
Well, you got it with those 10% fees, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, um,
But yeah, maybe you should do something like that, and then that way you'll never regret not selling. And then you pick a really high number and say, right, if it gets to £500,000, I'll sell.
Well, the last thing I heard, the last thing that I heard him say basically was when you're talking about his exit plan and targets, and it doesn't sound still like much of an exit plan, but I think he wanted it to get into the millions before he actually took anything out, and he was. I mean, he from 240,000 US dollars, it only needed to, I say only, but it needed to quadruple, I guess. But look, he's back down to 120, so he's actually kind of quite far away from that target, although he's made sort of these catastrophic rises in the first place. But yeah, who knows? Yeah,
I
and
think it just sounds a little bit. It sounds a little bit on the greedy side. Like you've already made 60 times your money. You want to take that 60 and times it by 10 again.
yeah,
You want
yeah.
600 times is what you're aiming for.
And the mad thing is, obviously YouTube went mad with Safe Moon around this time as well. It was suddenly, I didn't even have to look it up. It was in thumbnails only a few days after sort of hearing about this story, and then all of a sudden there was an understanding that it might take a long time for it to possibly get onto a platform like Coinbase or Binance. So there were other coins that were suddenly being sort of shoehorned into as the new one to sort of watch because it might get its 50x. And one of them was called Elongate, and another one I can't remember. There's loads of names, and guess what? They haven't shot to the moon, as so to speak. So there's just it's funny how it's just very fickle how people kind of shift their attention from one to another. But we'll see, and we'll see over the weekend. I was going to ask you just before we finish if you had any prediction about Elon's SNL uh, appearance, how much it will change
I
Dogecoin just over the 24 hours or 48 hours course, because since it goes on so much hype.
Dogecoin. I think will he mention it? Maybe yeah, maybe he will. But I mean, his company owns Bitcoin. Like his company wouldn't own any Dogecoin. I don't know how much Dogecoin he owns, but like Bitcoin, I think he takes seriously.
Yeah,
Dogecoin, will he mention it? Will he mention it? I think he will. Why not? It's funny. It'd be funny to do that.
I think he will,
So
and I
yeah,
think I think he will, and I think it will double. In,
really, you think
I
Dogecoin
think I
might
think its
double?
price will double. Yeah,
I think
I
it's sometimes.
I think
Okay,
it's on
maybe
60.
you're
It's
right.
on 60 cents right now, and there's a lot of talk about it getting past the $1 mark. So
$1 mark. So you think it'll be above $1?
yeah. Well, I think I think at max it will get to like $1.20. But yeah, we'll see
Okay.
though.
Well, I would never put my money on it, but I would say it might be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news situations,
Yeah,
and so I'll say it goes down below 40 cents. That's going to be my guess. I'm
fair
not
enough.
putting
Yeah,
any money on it either way, for sure.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
not that much conviction, but yeah, there we go. None of that was
Last thing
financial
actually.
advice.
Yeah. Last thing I was going to mention actually, since we're talking about
Hmm.
Elon, there was another sort of uh, headline that he's taking his money out. Tesla's taking their money out of Bitcoin, which was not so much the case. It wasn't. They didn't take all their money out. They just took They basically just took out their gains, which is what we were talking about with the friend we were just mentioning.
Yep.
All they really did was
Yeah,
take out
and
their
it's what it should
profits.
do too.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing it did. So if you talk to a Bitcoiner or a maxi about anything, they'll find a positive way to spin it. But the one
Mm.
thing it did prove was that as a corporate treasury reserve asset, Bitcoin has got enough liquidity, which means enough available to buy and sell for them to do that, and it didn't tank the market.
Right.
So like they were so a liquid asset is something like cash. You can exchange cash for anything. Really easy to exchange cash for cash. An illiquid asset is something like a house. So if you want to sell a house or buy a house, it takes weeks, months, whatever. It can take a long time. They're not very liquid.
Yeah.
And what the argument is they proved that from a corporate treasury perspective, so Tesla's treasury, that it's a pretty liquid asset because they were able to sell it without any problems. They sold it and they could buy it back, no worries. So it was liquid. The market was liquid
Mm.
enough for
Okay.
corporations. So that's the Bitcoiners putting a positive spin on that story were saying essentially that it was a liquidity test. And Elon even said, yes, on Twitter, he said it's a liquidity test and it passed,
Fair enough.
which is interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Yeah. Okay. Closing on that, and also, I think there's a lot of news with crypto. The last thing I was going to say is XRP. I think they keep saying that the SEC or there's going to be some sort of court announcement. I don't know how long that's going on for, but yeah, I think there's quite a lot going on. What they call, I guess, alt season. If it's arrived, it's kind of probably popping off right
That's
now.
fully
But we'll
hit.
see. We're probably going to have to do an update on this soon, because there's going to be there could be some big news on
There'll be
this.
so much news. This whole space, this whole crypto space is
Yeah,
extremely fast moving.
brilliant. Right. Well,
Cool.
think that's it from us for now. Yeah, so smash on the like button, and subscribe, and throw in a comment what you'd like to hear, or what you thought of our amazing non-financial advice. Remember, it's just our opinions, our humble
I want to hear
waffling.
what your
Yeah,
opinions. Yeah, I want to hear what your Dogecoin predictions are for
story.
post Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
Up or
righty,
down.
righty. Ciao for now, guys. Bye.
Right.